What's up guys, it's Perlin here coming at you from Ho Chi Minh City, and today we are joined again by Alex Stevenson. Thank you Alex for coming back on the show.
Nice to be here and see you again almost a year later in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, it's almost been a year since our last interview. If you haven't seen that last video, I'll link it in the description. But when we last talked, you had been living in South Korea for a year, teaching English, and also building up ninjateacher.com to help other people teach English. And since then, you've been living primarily in Vietnam for the last year. So could you go over a little bit about what it's been like to live in Vietnam for a year?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to give a quick background of that transition, I was teaching English in South Korea for 1 year, started to make videos about living there. And then after that, I decided I wanted to work full-time on what was becoming more of a business than just a YouTube channel, actually helping people get started. So I moved to Thailand. We lived together in that awesome house in Thailand for a month on an island, tropical paradise. That was amazing. And while I was there, I was kind of working, but as you probably know, it's quite difficult to work from the road.
Yeah.
So I stayed in Thailand for 2 months, then I traveled to Laos for a few weeks, almost a month, and then I ended up in Vietnam, partly because it's awesome here and I always wanted to come check out Vietnam, but also to have a more permanent place to stay. Not permanent forever, but for an extended period of time. And since being here, I've started going full-time on the business, actually helping people get started, still in South Korea, in Thailand too, and then focusing a lot in Vietnam because the teaching scene is very good here. So, and then basically to answer your question, well, Vietnam is awesome. I love it here. I've been here almost a year, both in the north, in Hanoi for 7 months. I lived there, and now I've been here in Ho Chi Minh City for 4 months, and I really like it.
Awesome. That sounds great. So teaching English is definitely a great way to fund your travels, and also to be able to live in other countries and support yourself as you go. So what have you found is the main differences that you've seen and you've seen your students have with teaching English in South Korea to teaching English in Vietnam?
That's a good question. And what you just mentioned in the beginning, it is a great way to fund traveling. For example, when I was in South Korea for 1 year, I bought a whole lot of things. I lived an awesome lifestyle, and I still managed to save enough money to keep me traveling. And while I was working on my business, I wasn't necessarily making that much money actually with the business yet. It was funding my travels, those countries I mentioned after South Korea. So it's awesome for that. The thing about South Korea is the contracts are year-long contracts. So it's good in the sense that you can just get a contract, teach for a year, save a lot of money, get a 13th month bonus paycheck, and that's awesome. And then you don't have as much time to travel during that period. You get a couple of vacations, whereas, and then you get all that money that you've saved up, and then you can travel afterwards if you like.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, Vietnam is a little bit more lifestyle orientated. Most people here are only teaching about 15 or 20 hours a week, which is not much at all. Then you can live a great lifestyle, still make good money because the living costs are very cheap and the salary is good. So you can live a nice lifestyle, still save a good amount of money, and it's a little bit more laid back and relaxed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So South Korea is a lot more in terms of you get a job and you can live there, but you're working most of the time, but you're saving a lot as well. Where it sounds like Vietnam is a lot more like you work a lot less hours, but the living cost is a lot less, and you've got a lot of free time, but it's harder to save extra money because the wages are a little bit lower. Is that correct?
That's more or less the correct, that's the one extreme and the other extreme. It's a scale, so you're not going to be working like a dog in South Korea and then relaxed here. It's it's somewhere, you'll be somewhere in the middle depending on the job, where you are, what city you're in. And so, but as a generalization, I would say that's fairly accurate.
Okay, awesome. So teaching English is definitely great, and that's a bit of a summary of the teaching English in Vietnam and South Korea. Since you've been here and you've been in the, you've been living here for a while, have you met other people that are also living on the road doing digital nomad type jobs? And can you say like what they are, those type of jobs that are helping people support themselves while living abroad?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Vietnam, there's a big expat community. A lot of them are teachers, and that's an awesome thing to do, as we were talking about. Then I've met a lot of entrepreneurial-minded people. So these are people that are running online businesses, are working off their laptops, are doing freelancing. And I would say there's a few main things that I've noticed, because there are these co-working spaces. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what those are, like big open office working spaces where anyone can go and work, and you meet a lot of cool people there. So from the friends I have here and the people I've met at co-working spaces, I would say there's a big split between people who are doing freelancing, which can be programming, design, copywriting, even blogging, stuff like that. Then there's the people who are running online businesses like myself, like helping people with services or selling products, that kind of thing. And then there's also quite a lot of people doing products, like physical products. This is actually a huge thing in Saigon. There's a lot of people doing it, like shipping products through Amazon, sourcing in China, and then selling them on Amazon. And that's very popular at the moment. So that's kind of the split I've seen.
Okay, nice. And so what would you say, like just roughly the percentage of like physical products, like services, like copywriting and like teaching English? Like what are roughly the percentages of the different types of work you can do?
Yeah, it's hard to say exactly. I would say the teaching scene is very big. So, if you go to District 2 here in Saigon, for example, there's tons of teachers. That's like the teaching district, but also teachers live in all over the city, District 7, District 1. But that would be maybe, I don't know, 30 to 40%. Among the digital nomads, I would say it's probably about 50-50 freelancers offering services, working for other companies remotely, and then another 50% running their own businesses, whether that's drop shipping, Amazon stuff, or other online businesses. So maybe like a third of each.
Yeah, and I've definitely noticed this myself. Like when I travel around, I'm just constantly amazed about the different types of work that people do to stay traveling on the road. You don't have to like decide before you leave. You can just come traveling with a bit of savings, and you'll really fast, you'll meet different people that are doing different things, and you just see what grabs you. You might be like, yeah, I really want to teach English, that I reckon that would suit me. Or you're like, oh no, I'm not really good at academic stuff, or I don't think I'll be good at teaching, but like blogging or digital nomads or like selling products, maybe that's for you. And you'll be able to find the information and the inspiration and the circle of people doing the same thing when you go traveling. So it's hard to find those type of people when you're just in your hometown, because you usually have your set up group of friends and family and social circle, and when you go traveling it just expands like exponentially. So yeah, I'd highly recommend to start traveling, and then look at all the different ways that you can keep traveling, and then go after those different ways as you get more information. You agree?
Absolutely. I could add a lot on the topic, but I think you laid it out really nicely. A lot of people do come and do that. For example, people come over, if they're a native English speaker, they see there's some teaching gigs, they pick it up. There's also people who come and meet all the entrepreneurs here, and they, hustler types. They like are go-getters, and they say, hey, you need someone to work for you, get in on a cool, interesting startup idea or something like that. So tons of awesome opportunities.
Yeah, and there's also like there's a lot of different options of what to do, and there's also a lot of different degrees. So I was in Cambodia recently, and lots of the people were just rocking up in a town, liking it, and then getting a job either in a bar or a restaurant, or just handing out pamphlets for bars. you know, and so they would just rock up and they decide they want to stay there, and they would just ask around a few places and they would get a job. And so, you know, and usually they didn't get paid much. They mostly just got free accommodation, free food, maybe a few drinks. They would be able to live there without spending any of their own savings. So that's like if you just want to get by and you don't have any money or you don't want to spend any money. And then you can go all the way up to like having your own like legitimate proper business that you sell products all around the world, and you can do it from your computer in a place like Saigon in Ho Chi Minh City. So there's a lot of different levels that you can choose from, and you can also jump between. You don't have to pick one and be set on that for like 10 years. You can, you know, see what you like best, see what works with your lifestyle, and pursue that. Could you just give a quick description about the culture here in Vietnam, and specifically in Ho Chi Minh City, so people are interested in about like, you know, how the food is like, what the accommodation's like, what the experience of living here in terms of like the facilities that you can get, like Wi-Fi speed, coffee shops. Yeah, just talk a bit about the culture of Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah, that's a lot to cover because there's really so much to say about living out here. But I think if I had to give a quick breakdown of it, I would say Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, is a very modern Southeast Asian country. And what I mean by that is it's still Southeast Asia. You still got that vibrant, kind of chaotic craziness. If you look like over there, you can see like all these motorbikes on the road. And basically, it's going to be very vibrant, full of life. However, on the other end of the story, basically there is a big scene of modern entrepreneurial people here. The young generation is very forward thinking. There's a lot of cool business startup things going on. There's a lot of awesome coffee shops, great nightlife, and very modern in that sense. And I think that combination is something that I love it. You know, the big city modern feel, while still a little bit rough around the edges. It's got a feel of like one of the big cities like Bangkok or Hong Kong. It's got that life to it, but it still has a lot to offer in terms of being a modern and very up-and-coming city.
Yeah, I've only been here for a few days, but I definitely feel that up-and-coming type vibe. Like it looks like a city that like a lot of people are moving to, and like choosing to live here and stay here and build businesses, because it's got the Western things that we like to have a comfortable life, like coffee shops and fast internet and good transportation and things like that, but also cheap, and so you can live here very cheaply and you can still have a very comfortable lifestyle, and you can be in another country with another culture, which is always fun as well. Alex, thank you for sharing all of this. If people wanted to find out more about teaching English and find out more about your services, what have you got in the works at the moment?
Yeah, so if you want to come over and teach English in Vietnam or South Korea, China is also up and coming right now, you can head over to my website, ninjateacher.com. We offer the TEFL certifications, teaching English as a foreign language. You can do a course here in Vietnam, which is an awesome option. You can get started teaching through this course, get a guaranteed job afterwards, get free accommodation. That's a great way of doing it. Otherwise, we can also connect you with jobs so that you can get started teaching. So just head over there, check out my YouTube channel because I've got some videos that explain a little bit more detail about the teaching scene. And yeah, thanks.
Yeah, guys, definitely check out ninjateacher.com and also his YouTube channel, Ninja Teacher. It's a great resource, and Alex has been doing this for a while now, so he's got like a lot of people that he's put through the course. He's helped get jobs, he's had a lot of success, and I'm sure he could get success for you as well if you want to teach English. So all of the links for Alex's stuff and my stuff at Perlin's Adventure blog will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, thanks Alex for sharing, and until next time, bye. What's up guys? So here's another passport update. So the last 3 weeks or so I've been down on the islands of Thailand, going through like Koh Phi Phi and Koh Phangan, Koh Tao, Phuket, places like that. And I've finally gotten back to Bangkok, and I went to the Australian Embassy this morning to pick up my brand new passport. Bam.